think we're live. Are we live? The clock is ticking. Hey, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Okay. There's Mr. Bubs.
We woke
Look at
up
that.
the bing.
Mr. Bubs. Just kind of like, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're working on the bathroom downstairs. It might be the nicest bathroom we've ever done. The one we have at the beach is also very good. But this one's really cool, but we're quite done.
Here.
So this is going to be a killer video. I really think so, but we're not quite done it. So we thought, let's do an AMA, Ask Us Anything. Yeah. We used to be youth workers, and so we're really used to any kind of questions. Please don't look too closely at the background. It is what it is. But you're welcome to ask us any questions. And we've got a whole bunch from yesterday's video, so we'll start with those. First question, my question, where is the open end of the tunnel where the bats flew up from? Near the driveway? Okay, so this is what I think, and we don't know, but there's about 4 wells we've found. One of them is underneath the terrace, and then there's the ones I showed in the previous video. When we pulled up that one, you could see there's a tunnel going somewhere. It seems that around the back of the house, there's kind of like maybe, I don't know, maybe about a meter square kind of just channel underground, and I think it's that. And it comes up right at the entrance to the other entrance to the terrace. So there's bars there which bats could get through. So I think that's where that comes from, but we don't know. There's so many mysteries, so many mysteries. Okay, next question. Do you want to read some of them? Do you want me to read them?
Sure. Yeah, this one?
Yep.
Okay. I think a lot of folks, and myself included, are curious to know long-term plans. Residency year-round, or is this going to always be a partial year thing? Any expansion on a number of study abroad sessions planned, etc.?
Love what you're doing. Thank you. Well, we have thought considerably about that. Remember that we're tent makers. That is, we're not independently wealthy. That means we have to both keep working. And so we go back to the United States to work. I teach, and Leslie does some decorating, keeps her business going, if you want to keep a business going. Yeah, she just keeps, her clients are happy to see her. And so we have to make the money to pay the bills. So we do go back and forth right now. Will there ever be a day when we're over here all the time? It's possible. We love it here, and obviously it's a beautiful house. Hello from Canada, just popped up, yay.
Hey, awesome.
We also love our school, and we have kids that are, in the early 20s, so it's nice to be back close to them once in a while. But really good news, and this is the next question, will you move full-time once you have residency? Have you seen any pigs lately? We have not seen any pigs lately, no bulls.
We haven't heard any, we haven't seen any.
Yeah.
I'm just reading the comments, so keep going.
Oh yeah, okay, that's great. So the other thing is, so we'll always probably at least spend a few months back in the USA. We love my school. I don't want to just up and leave them. We want to be loyal to them. They're fantastic. We also don't take a salary from the nonprofit. So, I mean, I guess there might be a day when we take like a little bit of a salary, in which case we could probably make it work, but
not yet.
No, not yet. So we're still going back and forth.
Yeah.
Really good news. We actually have a young couple that's going to come live in the Chateau in the off season for us this year. So the Chateau will be occupied all year. Previously we had cameras, we had some friends in France here coming and checking on the place, but now we're going to have someone living here, keeping it clean, keeping the mold down, watching out for broken windows, shifting floor, vacuuming flies. That's really exciting. We're really excited.
Hope.
Yeah.
Because we spend a lot of our time when we get back, at least 2 weeks, just trying to get the house to the point of where we left it, and then we can kind of move forward, getting things ready for students. So
yeah, we'll probably come back.
We'll
probably come back in December again to do try to get a bunch of projects done, and so we'll kind of shift off with them. But yeah, we're really excited to have them come. Okay, next question. Will you move full time? What is your greatest need? Isn't that a nice question? Thank you.
Very nice.
I definitely appreciate your prayers. Hi from New York City. We're seeing these things pop up. This is kind of fun.
It is
I'm enjoying this. Our greatest need.
Yay for caretakers.
Yay for caretakers. Our greatest need is definitely the roof. There's probably 3 needs that we have. One is the roof. One is the acquisition of the second half of the land. That's probably would be smart for us to get on one of these years.
Yeah.
We've started negotiations. And the third one is just structural stuff. That's going to be ongoing.
Wear and tear on the house.
Concrete, supporting things like that. Now, a lot of people have said, why aren't you fixing the roof first? Why aren't you fixing the roof first? Everything else is wasted effort. And you're kind of right and you're kind of not right, if I can be so bold. This roof will always have leaks. Like, it's incredibly complicated. There's gutters everywhere. Even when we put the new roof on that'll last 100 years, there will probably still be leaks. So you can't just wait for it to be perfect. It will never happen. Plus, it's going to cost $250 $300,000 to fix it. So even when we talk to the roofers, we have to kind of go in chunks. And we're actually trying to start right now. We've got some bids coming in from a roofer.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get on that as soon as we can. That's super exciting.
Nothing moves particularly quickly here. So if you can imagine, before we even came in January, we were already talking to some to try to get this ball rolling in case anything could have happened this summer, which it did not.
No.
So next year, hopefully.
Yeah, and the roof is really critical, because once we get the roof done, then we can start cleaning up. Not only can we make sure the rest of the place is secure, the roof keeps the wood from rotting, so that's hugely important. But then also we can upgrade all those bedrooms upstairs and have more students and staff, so that's really good news too.
So someone just asked, is there a non-slate alternative for the roof that would be good and not leak? Here's the thing. When you're dealing in historical properties, thankfully our house isn't listed, so it's not like we're roped in and needing to use government approved certain trades and things like that on materials, because then they get really sticky. However, the French are they seem to be very proud of their country, and so they should,
right.
and their properties and how we take care of them, which is great. And that is the traditional way that you would treat a roof of this kind of house.
Yeah, it would be unfair to put metal on it, even the other shingles. There is one area that we could probably get some asphalt in there. It's hidden, but we'll stay with slate. We'll do it the right way.
I would say I would consider deviating on the stables.
Yeah, maybe the stables.
You know, maybe we could cheat on that one.
We'll see.
But probably not on the house.
And you keep watching those, and
I
I'll
will,
keep
yeah.
reading the ones from yesterday. So really the roof, by the way, so we're a nonprofit. We don't get paid, and we loan the Chateau to the nonprofit for free. And so we actually have a board of directors, like the IRS controls how we operate, and we have to have a board. And our board wants to do a bit of a fundraiser for the roof. So we might actually do one in fall, we'll see what happens. We've actually had some people offer to help us a little bit, which is really exciting. Do you keep in touch with your students? They were all so nice, lovely kids. They truly are. They become a part of our life. We talk to them I talk to a few a week for sure.
They just, one of our sessions from this year just posted a few pictures on our Instagram of them all getting together from all different points of West Coast, and they're hanging out this weekend, and that's been pretty fun.
Yeah, I think our West Coast guys are in Vancouver, BC maybe.
Yeah.
Or in Washington, so it's super fun. Yeah, and by the way, the ones that go to Multnomah, my school, they'll pop in between classes. We'll have them over for crepes sometimes.
We'll do Sunday night crepes and do our soup dinners. And all that kind
we hear from students, like we've been working with young people for 30 years, so we hear from students all over North America every week, and it's a wonderful side benefit of working with young people.
It's very rewarding.
Yeah, we truly love them, and they're part of our house.
Yeah.
Okay, greatest need. Do you keep in touch with students? How are you feeling as you look at that's our friend Elba, by the way.
Hi, Elby. How's it going?
How do you feel? We should be reading names.
Yeah.
How are you feeling as you're taking care of such a big property in a different country? Elated, tired, discouraged, refreshed, etc. The biggest challenge so far, what would be the most helpful?
Yes, we feel all those things.
Yeah, truly, sometimes the same day. Like
the same moment, honestly. I can be elated and exhausted all at the same time.
You gotta get the scale of these places. Like when you walk around the house, you're just like, oh, I gotta do that. Oh, I gotta do that. You're like, oh, crack in the window. Oh, I need to change that fixture. And it's like, I'm a bit ADHD, and so it's an ADHD nightmare. You're one thing to the next.
And it's, the longer you stay, the more you see, right? Like your brain only can assimilate, I think, so much. And then as time goes on, you're like, I don't know how I've never noticed that piece of molding did that. I didn't know that. And I don't know why that is, but you just get to know the house more and more every year.
And
so
you hope desperately, that it's not a new crack. We go back and look at the pictures and we're like, was that crack there?
We
We're
do
like,
take
oh,
pictures now of all
thank
the
goodness,
cracks. We learned something
it was there.
from the Boar Chateau. When we were walking through it last summer, they would take a little piece of tape and put it on a crack on one of the walls and date it. And I think say how big it was or whatever.
Yeah, measure the crack and date it
and
to
I
see
remember
how it's changing.
we looked at that and went, that's a clever idea.
It was also super, we shouldn't maybe mention the
Encouraging.
Chateau, but we went to a Chateau the other day, and man, it was not looking like one of those ones that you pay $13 to walk through, and it was not looking much better than ours, so that was super encouraging.
It's always encouraging.
It's much bigger. We should watch these
am,
too.
but
Yeah,
do you want to
feel
get
free
through those and then get to
No,
these?
no, let's go back and forth. So
Okay,
if
well-
you see some of them, because then we'll try to get you while you're asking your questions.
Okay, someone asked about, is it
I
our,
should say their name.
Cindy asked if there was a grant in France to help with the roof. Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be nice. We don't know about it.
That would be nice, but we haven't
should-
looked into that
We
yet.
should think about that.
Have you opened up the Chateau for paid lodging? Nope, we can't earn money in France right now.
Yeah, there's a couple questions that are similar to that. Like, have we thought about having groups come in, or you know,
Yeah.
having our visa's not a work visa, so we can't make money off this thing. That's why we're one of the reasons why we're volunteering. So no, at this point we can't. Someday maybe. Obviously, you could use it as a wedding venue. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
there's
easy.
so many things you could do. You could have a B&B, but no, we're gonna do the nonprofit right now. Stay focused on what we're good at. This is a great question. Ignore this if it's too personal. This is Scissors and Smiles. But just wondering whether you could say where your funding's coming from. I'm one of your Patreons. Oh, thank you.
yay.
Very nice.
Thank you for
Patrons.
that.
So I know that that's part of your funding.
Yes, it is.
Also wondering whether you envisage moving full time. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So we do get a little bit of money from Patreon, probably about $500 a month. Super helpful. A lot of
It is
times,
helpful.
you know, I'm going to like hedge trim a 500 or a quarter-mile hedge, and I'm kind of like, oh, I don't want to buy a nicer hedger, but I'm like, this is going so slow. And then I'm like, well, maybe we'll use the Patreon funds, and that has justified some really good tools that we were probably too cheap to afford. So that's been super helpful. We get a little bit from YouTube, a few $100s a month, so that helps. Mostly it comes from our salaries. Now, obviously, we didn't buy, like I'm a teacher, so you can have a pretty good guess at what we make. And Leslie's a decorator; she makes more than me per hour for sure. So that helps. But most of our money that you go back and watch season 1, episode 4, and we talk in quite a bit of detail about where we got the money to buy this thing. Mostly it was just, our house appreciated in value and real estate, and our parents died and left us a little bit of money, and so we just put it all in a big pile and wanted to do something good with it, and went and bought the Chateau. So we're not nearly as rich as some people might think we are.
No.
Although probably if you watch the videos, you know we're not very rich. Yeah. Oh, this is such I want to go off on this question, but I can't get bogged down. This is such a great question. Lori asks, what are your students saying about their spiritual growth during their time there? Are you feeling the time, money, and effort invested are paying off in spiritual rewards?
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, so much yes. Like, again, when we're out here, it was, 6 days a week. We're not getting paid. We spend hours and hours and hours doing hard jobs sometimes. And the only reason we're doing it is because we love young people. And we talk to them. They sit in class for 4 hours a day, but this model of education is fantastic. I mean, the teachers and the students are together for 14 hours a day. We're watching movies together. We're sitting in the dining room for 2 hours talking about things that happened in class, talking about life, talking about marriage, talking about problems, talking about jobs.
And we're a whole family, right? Like we're living together in one house. They get to watch marriages. They get to watch how to be a good husband, how to be hopefully a good wife.
Yeah.
They get to see how they can interact with other siblings. You know what I mean? They get roommates. They get to see another world in another country of how it's run. They get to see so many levels of things. They get to hang out in a van for many hours with us.
Yeah.
There's so many times to talk about important life subjects and things that they're going through, which are a lot of things they're going through these days.
And one of the wonderful things about this generation is they are so honest.
And open.
Like, so
Authentic.
for example, we read through the New Testament and they do not hesitate 1 minute from saying, I don't know if I believe that, or they'll say that's really hard. One of the ones that always catches our guys is when you read through the New Testament, there's a lot of talk. Jesus talks a lot about forgiveness and the importance of forgiveness. Yeah. And some of those verses are pretty hard. And so some of our students will hear that and they're like, and very quickly into the semester, we hear really honest talk about a lot of betrayals, about the families that have broken up. We've had a couple of students where their parent has died from COVID or something else months before they came. We've had students who have been abused and raped and just, really, really difficult things, and they feel free to talk about it in this community. And so
Safe
it's
environment.
Man, you guys, I would love, I should post pictures of some of their answers to what did you learn this semester, because it's amazing. The model is fantastic. We've had one person skip a class in 4 years because they got COVID. They missed one day. And so Yeah, it's wonderful. We'll keep going. I'm
Okay.
excited. How many total rooms? Ooh, it's gonna be a fight. How many total rooms in the Chateau, Leslie? Square footage. How many rooms?
Well, I counted, now I count differently than Rob does, so I counted 35. I think we're around the 20,000 square foot mark. I think that we agree on.
Yeah, I mean, if you do the ballpark measurements of the outside, counting all 4 floors, about 20,000 square feet. When they advertised to sell it, they talked about more like 1,000 square meters, so, 10,000-ish square feet, but I think they were only counting 2 levels. I counted every room, including bathrooms and stairways and hallways, and I got 85. But Leslie doesn't count a lot of those rooms. Like, she barely counted this room we were in here, and it's like,
I'll count this.
it's big enough to have a church in it. It's a big room.
Right, it is a big room, but.
So it depends on how you count. If you don't count hallways and you do count bathrooms and stairways, probably around 70.
I did not count bathrooms.
If you don't count, no
stairways.
bathrooms, no hallways, no stairways, I think you're more closer to 50 or 60, but yeah, we're still fighting
At
about
any
that.
rate, plenty of rooms.
Well, we gotta read all these questions
All right,
coming in
hold
too.
on,
Yeah,
hold on.
hit us
Okay.
with a couple.
Can you turn it all off and just soak in the Chateau's beauty and history?
I
Beauty and
wish.
history? No, sometimes.
You can?
Sometimes when you're outside weeding or something like that, or Rob's like mowing, there's our nice view.
Keep talking.
I find I'll look up, and when you're in the backyard and you look up and see the back elevation of the house, it is really quite impressive. And that's when I always I laugh to myself and go, this
Yeah.
is ridiculous. Or when we drive in, you can see the house from the highway. And when we're driving home from the grocery store, again, it's those sort of moments where I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's just crazy to see this house. And I remember the moment that we walked up to this house. And I know when our kids are here and bring their friends for the first time, and they have that sort of moment of the same moment I had when we drove up and went, wow, this is great. So there's definitely moments that when the sun comes through the window at a certain time of the day, and you get to see a room in a different light than you did before. I don't know. You gotta relish those little tiny moments as you go through, or you'll just sort of go crazy.
Yeah, although honestly, it's mostly work. Like, we work hard, like too hard.
Of course, but still.
And we're
you gotta
tired.
enjoy
Like
something.
back to Elva's question, how are you doing? I mean, it's the end of 6 months.
Well,
We've
we're
had,
pooped this time.
I don't know, probably by the end of this, we'll probably have had people in the house maybe 130 days.
It's kind of
And
hard.
so the introvert part of us is,
Are you really the introvert part of
and
you?
I mean, Leslie's more the introvert, and so it's challenging, but we know what we're doing. It's important, and we love it.
Imagine
It is
having
fun.
different company, over to your house most of the last 6 months.
Yeah,
It's just kind of tiring.
that's how we're
It's
feeling.
like Christmas holidays and you have family over and you love family, but it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, okay, can I get another one off here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Gianna Brown, we're looking for a chateau in the next few weeks. Any tips finding a property? Did you use a property hunter? How did you find a trustworthy notaire? Did you hire a private inspector? Okay. No, we didn't do any of that. So I'm a designer, so I'm online a lot. Shopping, stuff like that. Sometimes I just need to take a break, and it took probably 10 years of me just surfing, looking at stuff before we realized maybe we should try this for real. And so I just found the more you look, the more Google feeds you, right? So there were just a lot of sites, and the more local sites and real estate pages that you can find, rather than the big engines of the real estate places. To find Chateau, the better you'll do. And then we just started emailing. I really found that if you are just emailing, what do they call it?
A realtor.
A realtor, just out of the blue for kicks and giggles to say, hey, I like this house, can you send me more pictures? They may or may not answer you. However, if you know exactly, I'm coming to France the week of August, 10 to 28, I am really interested in this house, can you send me more pictures? And I'd like to book a showing. And then you kind of have to stay on them for a little bit. But if they know you mean business and you're actually like, I'm going to be in the Loire Valley these 2 days, can we book a time? Then they know, okay, they're getting specifics and straightforward answers from you. And then we started having a little more success. So
Yeah, you have to sort of convince them, because obviously they don't want to spend half a day if they're not going
there's
to get
a
a
lot
sale.
of people that just go looking at Chateau for fun, and they just don't really care.
So you gotta keep going on. Okay, how do you get along with the language? Well, we're actually doing okay. We both read, not too bad, and people are telling us that our French writing is going quite well, thanks in big part to Google Translate. But speaking, still tough on the phone. We're both learning. We both did study French, so we're getting there, but lots of work to do. Nous apprenons le français. Je parle un peu. Yeah, pronunciation's not so great for me. Go ahead.
Shoot, I just lost my.
I got one. Have you thought about expanding what you do with college students to adults or couples or families? Yeah, we get that question a lot. In fact, probably if we were interested in money, I think what we would do is do retired folks, because a lot of retired folks have said, hey, we'd love to come out, but we're trying to stay on focus with helping young people. There could be a day where we do maybe a couple 2-week programs, kind of almost like fundraisers with some retired folks. We wouldn't charge too much because that's just not how we roll. But that could be really fun, and probably, you know, yeah, that could someday
Marriage
perhaps.
thing, I would like.
Yeah, we'd love to do a marriage building event, bring in a speaker and just kind of have a romantic one week in France.
I'd like to have a marriage building week. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So
Okay.
I had one.
Sure.
Can't you guys get an engineering report so you can get some peace of mind? When we bought the house, we did get an inspection done of the whole house.
I mean,
So I don't know. It is what it was.
like they do for every purchase. It's not like in North America, you don't hire your own inspector. We got a 60-page report. It basically said there's all kinds of problems.
They gave us an inspector. They gave us a notaire. She was lovely, by the way.
Yeah, very nice.
And that wasn't an issue. But so we did get that, so that we
Yeah.
knew what the issues were.
But if you're talking about our most recent discovery with we've talked to 2 engineers. We had one of them, we had agreed on a price and we couldn't make the dates work. Unfortunately, I talked to these guys and they're good guys, but they're like, yeah, we can come in September, and we're like, so, we're still working on that.
Someone said, hey, the Grifferaie's glad to see you well. You are well and things are looking lovely. Are you off for the summer then? Sadly, no.
I mean, we're definitely not off.
We're off from students
We
being
will
here.
never be off. This is 20 years of work. I had a friend saying, we'll never be done this place. So,
We don't have students here right now. So
Yeah.
in that way, yes, we are off.
I mean, we're not
But-
off.
But we're
No, it's worse. It's worse than when the students are
worse
here.
for you.
Because it's just endless. It's endless tiling. It's endless
So when we
repairing.
don't have students here, we're
Yeah.
trying to help upgrade the house because it's very crumbly, it's very paint peely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that tend to continue to need upgrading and redecorating and all that kind of stuff. So some of those things, new toilets and all that kind of stuff, it's all old. So we are constantly trying to
put things in perspective, so
refurbish.
I'm a full-time teacher. I've condensed my work all into 6 months back in the United States, and when we go back, those 6 months will feel like a vacation compared to this. So, you just have to be ready to work all the time.
You could have students
This is not easy.
do a little fixing up for some homework.
Yeah, that's a good
Homework
idea.
there. Yeah.
You should say it louder.
Okay, you could have students do a little, Steph Jezzo said, you could have students do a little fixing up for some home repair experience too. I agree. I couldn't supervise that
No,
because I'm
we're-
too busy when students are here.
We're just trying to
However,
survive. 4 hours of teaching doesn't sound too bad, but it's tiring. And then, of course, for me, the rest of the day, you're running to the bakery or you're fixing a shower. So you're kind of on all the time.
Some of the skills for this house is a little different than at home too, eh? So they're plaster walls. It's a little different than drywall. And the walls are what is it in feet? It's 4 meters high.
We're about 15 feet high.
So even painting requires a student to get on ladders or scaffolding or all those kinds of things. And so painting can be tricky. It seems like all the jobs are hard is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Other than weeding and all those kind of things, like lots of outdoor jobs.
Yeah.
So that
do.
they
I
could
have one
definitely,
too.
yeah. Are
Hey,
you a tax deductible charity?
We are in the United States, 501c3. We're still working on a couple details with some paperwork, but yeah, no, we were approved a couple of years ago. Hey, Kara Johnson, that's fun. What age would you say is best for LVSA? Honestly, I would say 19 and 20. I mean, you kind of got to look at your life. What would you say?
Oh, I don't know. 19 to 24, I think is good.
Okay, I mean, 18-year-olds have definitely come.
They have.
And I think sometimes the 19 and 20s enjoy the Europe, the travel a little more. They're just maybe a little more settled into it. But we're glad to have 18-year-olds. If it's not too personal, where did you meet and where are you originally from? I think I caught you might be Canadian. Yes, we're Canadian. I may have misheard. Some great questions. We met at Bible camp in Saskatchewan, Kenosee Lake Bible Camp in Saskatchewan. We fell in love when we were 16, or at least I fell in love when we were 16, and you shortly after. And then we started dating in high school. Went to Bible college. Got married when we were 19.
20.
And 20, less than a couple
turned
months
before
older.
him, yeah.
And yeah, it was love at first sight.
Sure.
Like pretty close.
Yeah.
So no, it's been going good. 32 years of marriage, so it's looking good. Though the Chateau sometimes tests
No.
that.
No, we're good.
Okay, you got
We're
one?
good. The rose bath was lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Yay.
Yeah, nice and loud. No, do you want me to do one?
Yep.
Okay, I'll do one while you're reading. We should do all these, but do you tell people in France you're Canadian before saying American? We're not embarrassed of either. We tell them both. We usually say je suis Canadien. We are Canadians, and then I say travaille en États-Unis. I work in the United States as a university professor, and then sometimes people just say you're from the United States, and we're like
Sure.
okay. We'll take what we get.
Whatever.
They're both good, great countries. Very
Yeah.
proud of both. Do you know anything about the original owner of the Chateau? Where did they get their money? How many children did they have? How long did it take to build? Not very long. What type of work did they do? You always love to say this guy's name. Louis Ondigné. Okay, apparently it's me. Yeah, he was a marquis or something like that.
It was count.
He was a count.
Count Louis Ondigné.
Yep.
So in the house, we have several monograms. On the outside of the house, it's in stone. So in France, the letters are reversed, so it would be Ondigné Louis. So there's lots of ALs, sorry. In the house, outside, in the hand painting, in the ceilings, and the beams in the dining room. Also their coat of arms, which was I'll show you actually, I brought it up.
Oh, you gonna show it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Were 3 griffins, or 3 birds anyway. That was their family coat of arms. And
Yeah, show the picture. Show that picture of the house.
yeah,
Or
I
you can show
will.
later.
I will.
Yeah.
We also know that there was a rose that was discovered in, I think it was 1763 by Jean Vibert. It's called it's now called the de la Grifferaie rose. I know in Canada they use it as rootstock because it's an old hardy rose. We actually have one here on the property and it blooms its little heart out. We also know it was built on a Roman Gaelic property.
Site.
Site.
There's conflicting information because the guy that everybody says it was built for died about a year or two before the house was finished. So maybe he started it and his wife
I'm not
lived
sure.
in it. We
So
don't know.
I
not
have
sure.
yet to get to the bottom. It seems like whenever we're here, we're either racing around trying to get renos done, or I'm cooking my heart out downstairs for the students. So one of these days, I will have enough time, and I will go to the mairie and the town office and try to get some more figured out. But for now, this is what we know.
After we learn French a little better. Well, you show that. I'm going to go turn the light on.
Okay, we also know that in the 80s, it was a bed and breakfast, and so the backyard had this gorgeous rose garden that I can still see the imprints of out there right now, and I'm just dying to start recreating at least part of it. We may not get to all of it. We also have one old
Oh,
photo
this one's cool.
from an archive of the living room, and
Go nice and close.
okay,
Yeah.
trying. And a few things are different. Obviously, the mirror over the fireplace is different. The pediments over the doors are different. So I don't know if they were lost. What's up there now is sort of screwed on paintings and a Trumeau mirror over the fireplace. But it's definitely our room. There's plenty of architectural details to make sure that that's right. And I don't know if you noticed where the piano was in that room, but one day there will be one there. So excited about that. Can't wait.
Yeah.
One said, are you staying the winter in France this year?
No, not the whole winter.
Sadly
But we'll
not.
be back. And we'll be back again in late
back in the
February
winter, but-
and back for December. And then the Art Friends. I've got a couple. Why do you have comments on your Facebook page blocked? I don't. I think friends can comment, so let's be friends. Let's be friends. I'm curious about long-term plans. Also, can anyone volunteer? Our family would love to come. That's Anna. The last person was Jackie. We haven't done a ton. We've done like a couple of work weeks. Mostly we've stayed with folks that we know to start, but that will probably expand. If we're ever out here more of the year and we have time, it would be fun to have more people
Yeah, I
because
agree.
it's super helpful to us, and I think the people really enjoy it too. So yeah, there's more of that coming. Stay tuned. Yeah.
So Stella Marie Pottery and Green Art says that there was another Chateau did blocks to support the joists of their building, which is interesting. Have you thought about, Joni's asking if we have ever thought about taking on a partner to help with expense or investors?
Oh yeah. You know, we're actually, we've hesitated from fundraising. Like, we kind of got into this just trying to do it ourselves, wanted to keep it simple. Although we have had some friends come alongside and offer to help. So even without asking for it, I'm gonna go ahead and say God has brought us a couple people that maybe are gonna help us out with the roof and some other things. So we're actually, has been really exciting. Yeah, very thankful.
I have a
very
good
thankful.
one.
Yeah.
Is there, Bluebird123 says, is there a project that you have been really wanting to do at the Chateau for a long time but keeps getting bumped on the priority list? Like every time we come, I come with my
All of
little
them.
list of all the things I want to try to accomplish. And inevitably, within the first 2 weeks, they're all out the window. Now, I will say there has been some tiny successes by the end of this 6 months.
Yeah.
I do have a bed that I'm sleeping in. Now, like I say, the pieces
Yeah.
aren't all there.
Yeah.
But you know what? I got a bed. That was one of my goals for this. It sounds stupid, but that was one of my goals for this 6 months. And we got a couple things done on, like, I didn't think we'd get to the main floor bathroom, and it looks like that you guys might get to see that next week. So, you know, tiny baby steps
Small
every once
steps.
in a while, yes.
By the way, let us know if the mic. Someone was saying the fan is blowing, or we do have a big open window. So if you're getting too much wind, let us know and we'll turn that. A couple of quick questions. I'd be interested in a spiritual retreat. Any plans to have more people come over? We talked about that. And the Chateau was. Oh, this is interesting. The Chateau wasn't open to the public much when it was a theme park. I pretty much lived there when I was a kid and never saw the inside. That's sad. I wish you could have seen the inside. We always invite all the delivery guys in to take a look, and or anybody comes on the property. We want them to see it. It's beautiful. At least quickly.
We've
take a
had
quick look.
people tell us that when they were little, they came here to Holly Park. We've had other people say when they were young, their parents brought them here to have tea in the salon. When it was the bed and breakfast, I think. And so it's been pretty fun meeting local people that have said they've been here when they were little and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Another question, would you ever consider renting the whole Chateau as a venue for a week or weekend to a youth conference or education? Leslie would probably say no. I would say maybe. Maybe someday when we can't get an income right now, so it'd have to be a donation for us, and right now we're kind of up to, we basically are doing as much as we can do. But maybe someday, maybe something could be figured out with a nonprofit. The money could go to a nonprofit instead of us. I don't know. You want to be careful, right? We don't want to do anything wrong legally.
So there's some interesting points being made on the thread about perhaps there's students in France that are learning like architectural crafts and repairs on Chateau and stuff like that. That's an interesting idea. I did see one other originally Chateau do that, where they have different students come in who are learning decorative arts and things like that in university. Interesting idea. We don't have connections for that, but that is cool. There was also someone that said, Estella said, shoot, I don't suppose if you know if there are any living descendants from former owners previous to the last ones.
Ooh,
I
know.
Go ahead.
Do you know someone?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
But you might be the same thing.
We do know that the guy before,
There you
so there was the Holly Park, and maybe I shouldn't say the name of the folks, but they had it for about 20 years. Then there was the folks from England who had the bed and breakfast for quite a few years. Before that, we believe it was the CEO or one of the head guys at Renault.
No, Peugeot.
I thought it was Renault. Was it Peugeot? I think it's Renault, but
I think it's Peugeot.
we're not one of those two anyways. And I believe, I think I did, what else, do you know anything else?
I do know this. I don't know if you've noticed one of our postcards at the beginning of sometimes of our video, you'll see people standing out in front. So at the beginning of our time, this chunk, a man drove in and I was busy, but Rob talked to him and he said, hi, I noticed watching your videos that there's people on the front of one of your postcards. They're my relatives, which were like, what?
And then he opened up a photo book and showed me similar pictures of the same people in front of the Chateau. And so he was looking for a copy of
Of the
postcard,
postcard.
which we were glad to make and give him.
Yeah.
So very, very nice gentleman.
And-
We'll
and-
get to know him sometime.
I know, it would be fun.
Work on our French
I
first.
actually look forward to it. He did pretty good English. How
Yeah.
do the wild boar get into your yard if it's all walled and fenced off? Well, they're very clever, is what
Yeah,
it
they
is.
dig, and we have we try to patch up all the holes, but they dig holes under the fence.
And when we're not
So,
here, it's just
yeah.
quiet, so they get to have the place to
Yeah,
themselves.
tough to know. Oh, here's one for you. What are the empty decorative stone frames between windows on the second floor, or the premier etage probably? Was it statues?
So the outside of the house is made of a stone called tuffeau, and it's a limestone, which is marble, from the Loire Valley floor, the river. And because they used that in all these chateaux in the Loire Valley, or a lot of them, because it's very soft and easy to sculpt and easy to make beautiful decorative things on the houses. That's all it is. It's decorative on the front of the house, and it was just one more cool decorative bordered
An element.
architectural detail to be able to have on the facade to dress it up and make it look fancy.
When you look at the very old pictures, there was nothing there. It's not like someone came and took the statues out.
Yeah.
Here's another question. Have you brought instructional area? We answered that. I'm curious if you've considered having the students live in the former restaurant and then have people come here to support the YouTube. You know, like our business plan actually is not too bad. The fact that we don't pay anyone, all our workers are volunteers, including us, means it's pretty easy to manage the expenses. So the students pay a little tuition, right? And even though it's about a third or a quarter as much as they might pay in the United States, that's still money coming in for us. So, you know, we can use that to pay for electricity and for repairs and for furniture and stuff like that. So the business model actually is working pretty good. We'll see how things go, you know. Do you have one, or are you going to keep going?
I just had another
Have one.
buying a chateau question.
Okay.
Bryant G was asking about getting the runaround. You just have to be vigilant, and like I said before, give them very specific dates of saying, I'm going to be in the northern part of France from this day to this day. I would love to book a time to get in to see this house. I'm really interested in buying in the next year or whatever. Try to give as many specific, serious details as you can to make them know that you're not just a tourist that wants to go
wants a
walk
free
around.
show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have
They
to
get it a
convince them.
lot.
So, and obviously you have to be serious about buying it. So, and it's just a lot of work. We probably were successful in getting maybe 80% of the agents to show us the properties we wanted to see, maybe a little better.
Also,
Not all of them. Didn't get them all.
sometimes if there is any offer at all on the table, they won't show you the
Yeah.
house, which I found frustrating.
You're out of
But,
luck.
You just couldn't get in, or if there's even a hint of an offer, it seemed like we wouldn't get into something. So, you know, I went with at least 20 that I wanted to see, and I think we saw, I don't know,
I think like 15-ish.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was super fun.
So some stuff happens, some stuff doesn't, but
Yeah.
just be serious about it, and like I said, give them as many details as you can so that they know that you're serious.
My border collie writes, not sure if you mentioned this previously, when did you guys come to accept the Lord, and briefly, what is your testimony?
Sure.
We should do a whole video on our story, because our story is actually kind of interesting. But the first part, like becoming a Christian, is not very interesting. For me, I was like 4, and I grew up in a Christian family, went to church, heard a sermon about heaven and hell. Sounded like heaven was the place I wanted to go to. So I asked Jesus to forgive my sins. So, you know, nothing exciting there. I mean, good for me, but
Yeah.
and similar for you.
I was 5.
Yeah.
I was a pastor's kid. Mom and dad worked in a church.
Yeah.
And, so similar kind of situation. I think we both were sort of good kids. Neither one of us sort of had the whole rebel thing through high school or whatever.
Yeah. So far, so good.
Yeah, we've had a
Yeah.
good life, but
We'll,
there's
we'll
not.
totally do a video on
But
this.
we had lots of
'Cause
stuff happen in between.
We had some stuff. We had people die. We had car accidents. We got people suing people, and there's an interesting story.
We've had some weird
So
things.
maybe
go
when we
on.
get back to America, we'll do
Yeah.
one or two on that.
Yeah.
Be fun. I think that's the end of mine here. We should look at these ones. Can we scroll
know.
and do them all? Let's go. Let's
Okay.
maybe reset. Yeah, there we go. What's we get? Hello to all.
Okay, this is
Hope
the
everyone's
top.
well. Send a few. Oh, too fast. I didn't get them all.
They're just talking
Okay.
weather.
Okay.
Canada,
Well,
New
don't go
Hampshire.
so fast. So, New Hampshire in the house. Yay for caretakers. Good news. You're having a caretaker.
Do you want to scroll?
Yeah, please. Hello from New York City, Central Indiana here. I agree, home occupants are great. Hi from South Africa. That's cool.
Oh
I noticed on the analytics that a lot of people are watching from Australia. That's
You know, my sister
cool.
lived in South Africa for 12
Yeah.
years. She loves it.
Is there not slate alternative? France seems pretty leisurely. They just have a good quality of life. They have a really good balance between work life. Hopefully that will
They
rub
do.
off on us at some
Eventually, it will.
point. Ooh, here's another one. Did you end up re-enameling the bathroom? Oh, not yet. No, that's quite a ways down.
At the
Oh,
bottom.
lover,
They're at the bottom.
yeah, I know, but we
Okay.
gotta stay straight here.
No, not yet. That's gonna have to happen next
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
Next time.
Yeah. Oh goodness, it jumped on me. Hang on. Are there non-slate? Yeah. Let's take a look. Would there be a grant in France to help with the roof?
We already did that.
See that? Yeah, but that's tricky because if you start listing your building, then you got all kinds of controls. I guess you did say something about that.
Yeah.
So we don't want that. Seeing the cracks around the chateau, are there plans to completely restore the entire structure? Yeah, that's what we're working on. But it's
That'd
again,
be
it will
great.
be the next 100 years. We'll be working on this place. It's always going to be long.
The
Hey, Wendy
exterior-
Kraut.
The exterior will take longer
Fun
to get
questions.
to, but I would love to see that.
Yeah. Can you turn it off? Yeah. Engineering, not yet. Hello, you two. Let's see. Are you off this summer? No, still not off. Hello. I need to catch up on videos. Yeah. Whoa, your chateau needs to be jacked up from
I need to
underneath.
see this one.
Oh my goodness. I can't imagine. There's a lot of stone, my dude. Like, there is a lot. Like, I have no idea how much this thing weighs, but I mean, it's a lot of stone. I don't think there's anyone that's jacking it
The
up.
house is super tall, eh?
And it's strong, too. I mean,
Like if each
Yeah.
floor, how tall is the house? Do you
the
remember?
house is about 90 feet tall, 95 feet tall. And, I mean, 110 feet, something like that.
All stone.
45,
So
all
it's
stone,
something.
big, thick walls,
So I
2
don't know
feet
if it's
thick.
possible, but
Are you a tax deductible? Yes. Yeah. You're glad we can give them a supportive environment. It's so beautiful, you guys. When the students are here, I just love it.
they can't hear
I
or
know.
see
I
what
saw
you're
that
reading.
earlier. There's a great story about Winchester Cathedral. It was saved by a dockyard diver. They dug a pit until they hit water, sent them down to concrete the area. Wow, that's frightening. Do you each have a favorite place in the chateau? That's fun. Favorite place? Me is windows. I love lying in bed looking out the window at that beautiful cedar of Lebanon with and here's my Christian, you see the big cross in the window and the big beautiful tree and then the sky, and then this window's great, and the ones downstairs, they're all huge with beautiful trees. Love it. You?
I think I have three.
Oh, 3.
One, the Grand Salon. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
When I have time to sit in there and enjoy the moment, I love it in there. 2, every morning when we come through, especially when it's summertime, and I come out our bedroom door, which is right there, and I look straight across to these sets of windows, and the sun is coming over into the yard, and it's just beautiful. And the breeze is coming across the hall. It's just a lovely thing.
Oh, it's
And then my third place, I think, is the kitchen downstairs. I've started to bond with it down there, and it's pretty lovely, actually.
close the window.
And so I have loved that. Why, is it too loud?
A little loud, yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Okay, close the window. That might be a little quieter.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a good point about forgiveness. There are many different levels of forgiveness, like shedding one deeper layer after another over a period of time.
That's true.
It's a good point. You make the decision to forgive, and eventually it becomes easier, but it is hard at the start. Yeah. Part of my story, there was a guy who killed my parents. He was on drugs, and he hit them in a car and killed them. And so, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
A lot of us do, right? Okay. There's bound to be some company that could help them. Yeah.
He's talking about the jacking
stabilization.
up idea, yeah.
You know, honestly, guys, I don't think the stabilization stuff is as bad as you think. Like, when you're walking around these buildings here in Europe, a lot of them have cracks. It's not, when you're watching in North America, and our North Americans, we see a crack, we're like, but here they're kind of everywhere. So it's
And plaster seems to be a little more fragile than our drywall
Yeah.
walls, and so it doesn't take much for this crazy plaster to crack.
yeah.
However,
There's a question. Does the property have a stable? Yes. And when there's an episode on it, I think season 2, we look around. It's
There
super
is.
cool. Someday we'll get to
we
it.
don't have the cool stuff that used to be inside of it,
Yeah.
but it's going to be a fantastic conversion. I see it in my mind. I already know what it's going to look like. We just got to
Yeah.
get the resources to make that happen.
What about the school you work for in the U.S.? Could they assist you with a grant? My colleagues have been so fantastic, like Aline and Karen and Derek, my bosses. They are fantastic.
Yeah.
They've helped us out so much. when we initially started with this idea, we went to the president at the time and said, hey, we'd love this to do with you, to do this with you guys, or if not, we can do it alone. And he was, I think, maybe a little worried about the school getting sued or something like that. And so he wanted, they declined to join us. In my opinion, a mistake,
okay.
but
That's all right.
but my colleagues could not be more supportive. And so, any way we can team up and help that school, I would love to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, we will get better with French the longer we're here.
And that's the always sad bit, actually, because when I go home, you automatically have things coming out of your mouth that's French, and you're like, shoot, we're back.
Yeah.
We're back home. And then your brain gets out of it again, and then you come back and you have to start all over again. So it is a bit of a yanking around mentally with the language, but yes, it is, no question, it continues to get better.
Hi from Edmonton.
Yay.
Let's see, I think we're almost done here. You wanna go silence the dog, I wonder? Oh, does the Chateau smell moldy when you leave it for a few months? Do you leave the heat on? No, we don't leave the heat on.
Up to you also missed that one. Up to this point, up until we came back this last time, the house has done really well and it hasn't been moldy at all. This last time, however, because they said it had been so rainy while we were gone from January to March, we came back and there was quite a bit of mold. So
it was bad this time. We're gonna try to keep, mostly, you wanna go get the Bubs maybe, or? I don't know if you guys can hear him barking. It's kind of annoying sometimes, but you like him to be a guard dog, so we try not to shush him too much. We try to, I think with these Chateau, you need to keep the wind blowing inside, and so, last year we tried to have someone come in and open the windows regularly, but it wasn't enough. So this year we have folks coming to live, and we'll have a little bit of heat, not much, but then we'll have some wind coming through too, so that will help. Let's take a look at, we do have some.
Going about property with metal detection.
Oh yeah, you gotta read it louder though. Is anyone thinking about going around with a metal detector? That would be fun. It's one of those things that you're like, there's so many fun things, but you don't have a time. Do you have some kind of bookkeeping for French taxes? How do you work there and how much taxes do you have to take? Oh man, so,
Have a test,
the taxes,
Concierge.
so we don't have income taxes because we don't make income, so that works really well. We do, of course, pay tax foncière and habitation, the 2 property tax. And they're actually pretty bad compared to most French Chateau. Like we talked to a friend the other day who pays like less than $2,000 a year for their property tax.
And has more land than
Big
us.
Chateau, like, 75 acres, really nice Chateau. Similar to ours, I think. And we actually pay about $7,000 and then an additional 3, so that's about $10,000. Which is a lot in France. We think probably and we gotta go figure this out. We think it's probably registered as a commercial property. So we need to go in there and potentially change that back, but we're probably paying more than we should for that. Okay. Oh, Leslie, you always look so beautiful. Your hair is perfect. Do you ever look disheveled? Isn't that nice? Thank you very much.
Nice of you. I'm pretty sure you'll find somewhere in the video where I look a little bit of a mess when we're working on something. And I haven't had a haircut since February, so my hair is feeling a little.
Oh, she can't wait to get a haircut.
Cannot wait.
Oh, that's Ty. That's Wendy's husband. Yeah, I know you two are Ty. That's good. Okay, let's see. Do you have someone staying there? Yeah, we answered that.
Yep.
I think we're almost done,
Maybe
guys.
You can apply for a grant. Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, it might be nice, but sometimes grants are not simple. Probably, honestly. I'll tell one story to maybe finish this up, unless more people want to comment on something, unless there's something I'm not seeing. When I first started, there's a question. Let's do that one first. Yes, they have a young couple staying at the Chateau. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So when I generally, but I think both of us are people that do not like to ask for help, and we're kind of independent. I don't like asking for money. I certainly don't want to be like a TV evangelist, give us money. And so we've really hesitated from that. Then my school got a grant from a big corporation in the United States, and as part of the grant, we were running it for a while, and we were doing a good work with young people. Anyways, I flew out to their national office for the conference, and I started sitting at the tables, and there were some big schools that were also getting grants, including, like, I think maybe, I shouldn't maybe say them, but I think like Duke or Notre Dame, like Baylor, like big, huge schools like that. And some of those schools, not necessarily those 3, were getting multi-million-dollar grants. And so we're sitting around the table, and I'm like, so what do you guys do with your grant? And I heard how much money they were getting, and to my impression, how little they were doing with it. And I kind of went away from that thinking, man, how do those guys sleep at night? Like, you know, I don't want to say wasting all that money. And I guess the big thing I learned from that conference is there's a lot of organizations that will donate money to a good cause. And so if you are a good cause, which I think we are, you know, we shouldn't be shy about trying to go to some of those corporations and those grants, because we really are trying to use the money well. So I'm trying to be less shy about that, and who knows. What about posting up the PET scans? I don't know what that means. You're gonna have to come back and explain that one. Yes, they have a young couple. Are you able to rent the building? No, again. Well, maybe we could if it was a donation to the organization, not to us. Boy, we'd have to talk to somebody to know if that's okay. What's your favorite meal in France?
Duck.
Leslie likes the duck.
Tarte citron.
Man, I like anything bakery.
Yeah.
I see many Americans and others moving to France. Where is it?
It'll come in a minute.
It'll come in a second.
It takes a
We'll wait
second
for
to
it.
get to my laptop.
It takes a second.
There it
Oh,
is.
here it is. I see many Americans and others moving to France to buy derelict Chateau. Is there a network of fellow Americans who have lived the dream? The dream. There are some.
You know what? There seems to be more UK networks. They've been here long before we ever all got here, eh? They've been going back and forth between the UK and France for a long time buying properties. So they seem to have a nice little network for UKers.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot yet, but I've sometimes often thought of the same thing. Like it'd be nice to sort of collaborate all our brains together and go,
Yeah.
you know, you had this happen, what did you do? Those kind of things. But not so much for Canadians and Americans so far. We did have a fellow Canadian who bought a house, Chateau,
Yeah.
that came and visited
Cheryl.
actually last week, and that was really nice. So, you know, it can start somewhere. So maybe over time. We'll see.
You know, and again, I feel good about that. Like, you know, for the country, there are so many Chateau here, and it's so much work to keep them afloat that, you know, the infusion of foreign money is probably a good thing, because you want these things to be around in 100, 200 years. We're going to be gone, right? We'll eventually die, and this property will revert back to the country or to someone else.
It'll stay, yeah.
So, you know, it's important for us to try to keep it alive. Patrick
We're just the
and Stuart.
caretakers for now.
Oh, yeah.
And then someone else will get a chance.
The UK people probably would let us in their group, it's true. I don't know.
Well, that would be great.
Honestly,
But
you're
we have
just-
a great UK electrician.
Yeah,
He's lovely.
Jeremy's great.
Yeah, and he helps us out a lot.
You're so busy, like lately we're so busy tiling. By the way, as we're getting ready to finish off, this next bathroom video, it's gonna be a little bit long, but it is gonna be so good. Like the change is crazy. It was so bad before, and it is so cool. We should have that done by next Sunday, Lord willing. At least most of it.
I may or may not have lights.
Yeah, but it's going to be pretty close to done. So we're really excited. Too bad we didn't have it done for today. I think we should probably finish it up, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going long. Hey, thanks so much for coming with us. We enjoy talking about this. This is our life. And forgive me for always going close to the camera. Leslie stays back, so you know, it is what it is.
Sorry.
Oh, we got one more. Yeah. Oh, isn't that nice? You're my heroes. Oh, look at that. You're building a big one too. What advice do you get ready to do a lot of work? All you need to reach out is to other chateaus. That's probably true. They probably are friendly.
Oh, I know. You just don't have time for it. I'm buying it. Oh, cool. An Easter Port, Maine.
Yeah. Again, thanks for all of your encouraging comments. It's much appreciated, you know, both here and on Facebook and on. Leslie has an Instagram for Grifferaie too. She does a lot of pictures and stuff. Thanks a lot. We'll close her off, and I hope you're having a good Sunday, and stay well. Yeah. If we can figure out how to